both have an equal claim, really. It'll be tight. I'd say McKinnon gets a slight edge, though.
I think it should be.
Yeah. Well, all the underlying stats suggest he was the best player this year, if you look at points per game and that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In Bolzano, Italy, we have the final of the 2006 World Selects Invitational at the Paolanda Arena. We started with 18 teams back on game 1 on Wednesday, and now we're down to 2 in game 59 of 59, plus an additional all-star game coming afterwards. But these are the 2 teams that many touted would be in the final when they squared up for their opening ceremony game back on the opening day of the tournament. But of course there was a bit of a surprise, a big 7-1 decision for CSKA Moscow. They really took control and were steady as the beating drum going forward. I'm Quinton Amundsen, joined by Adam Kirschenblatt, and it's such a delight to have you on board. And yes, CSKA Moscow were so dominant. They have won 7 straight games coming into this event, and they have been lights out with their execution, their game-breaking ability, and their resiliency. They've come back from deficits in this tournament, and of course their goaltending has been lights out. Maybe the best of the tournament, a case could be made. And the East Coast Selects, I mentioned, lost 7-1 in that opening game, but they were able to get better and better each game. And Adam, you like to always use that quote: if you want to play your worst game, make it your first, and if you want to play your best game, make it your last. And I think that this team has really lived by that credo.
Absolutely. And you talked about the goaltending earlier and how possibly the CSKA goaltending has been the best in the tournament. If you're going to pick another one, it's the guys on the other side. Jaden Cholette has been outstanding for the East Coast Selects. He's been the rock and probably the reason they're here.
And there also is plenty of game breakers on this roster as well. It'll be a fascinating matchup between the likes of Rosensteel and Seneca and Shuha taking on Dontsov, Piroshkov, and also Kozushko on the other end. So many roster players have had very strong tournaments, and they both played in very tough semifinal matchups today. Let's start off with East Coast. They took on Pro Hockey, who came in as the favorite, you could argue, because they had a perfect record, but East Coast was able to eke out a big win.
Yes, well, Pro Hockey took an early 1-0 lead a minute and 18 seconds into the game. About 5-6 minutes later, Maxime Lafond of the East Coast Selects tied it up to make it a 1-1 game. And then late in the period, with a little more than 2 minutes left, Christian Chuha scored shorthanded to give the East Coast Selects the 1-goal lead. They came out into the second period on fire. 19 seconds in, Jack Rosensteel makes it 3-1. And then 2 minutes after that, Chuha scores the second of the game to make it 4-1. It stayed that way for about 5 minutes, and then Pro Hockey decided to wake up. Anthony Cristoforo scored a goal. A minute later, it was Jesse Venturo that scored. And after that, Landon Miller, the other goalie for the East Coast Selects, shut the door. He slowed down the game by just catching every puck, causing a face-off, slowed down the legs of the Pro Selects, and that's how the East Coast ended up in the final game.
And CSKA Moscow really had to overcome a major scare from the Western Canada Selects, a mighty game, and they came out on top in the shootout. How did that get to that point?
Well, that was just a back-and-forth matchup. CSKA scored first 4 minutes and 34 seconds into the game, and that was from Nikita Frolov. Western Canada came back about 4 minutes later and tied it. This all scoring happened in the first period, essentially. CSKA scored 2 minutes after that to make it 2-1, and then 2 minutes after that, Western Canada tied it up again, and then there was nothing. There was a lot of chances, a lot of strong play by both sides, and they just couldn't get a puck by anybody in the second period, in the 5-minute 3-on-3 overtime, and that's when we got to the shootout, and Russia got one more goal than Western Canada, CSKA Moscow got one more goal than Western Canada, and that's what the difference of that game was.
And the hero was Alexei Dontsov coming out, and I noticed he made the sign of the cross, asking for a little bit of spiritly help, and he was able to get that big-time goal and lift his team into the final. And last year, CSKA lost 3-2 in the semifinal to Dynamo Moscow. So it was a reverse outcome in their favor. And they are here trying to finish a job by defeating the East Coast Selects for a second time. Both are very savvy teams led by veteran bench bosses. You have Pavel Balin, who's been very experienced at all different levels of Russian minor hockey at the U16, U18, and obviously the U12 with the CSKA Moscow. And Mitch Larnard is a staple at these events, and he will be coaching in Philadelphia for the 03 WSI in a matter of days. So very experienced, and I'm sure this will be a good matchup between the tacticians to make sure the right players are on the ice to exploit the matchups on the other side. I know that Alexei Dontsov is a player that we really wanted to feature before the game, and what could you tell me about him?
Well, his favorite memories from playing hockey is all the beautiful matches that they've played, and it's something that he wants to keep in mind as he gets older, so it's something that he'll never forget. And his favorite player, of course, Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby was probably the second most popular on our player questionnaires behind number 97, Connor McDavid.
Right.
We're so thankful, once again, to all the parents and all the kids for sending in those player questionnaires. It means a lot. So we are going to get the battle of the 30s. Danila Dutov versus Jaden Gillette. Two all-star goaltenders coming up in the all-star game almost immediately after this one. Puck is dropped. We are underway here. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Bolzano, Italy. And as the late Bob Johnson liked to say, it's a great day for hockey. Puck is thrown inside of the attacking end, and going after it will be Beckett Seneca. I've been calling him the Artful Dodger, the way he's been picking up the pucks. Another player to look out for is Christian Schuha. I'm going to call him the Pestilent Pickpocketer, the way he's been able to steal pucks and was able to be a big architect in that big win over pro hockey. And CSKA, they were able to live and die a little bit by those fast breaks. They are so good at stealing pucks, so everybody has to be aware at all times. Here's Okunev, a shot. Save is made by Gillette. His first little piece of the rubber in the gold medal game.
So, about 5 days ago, we were sitting here in this exact same spot. These two teams played each other in the opening game, in the opening ceremony game of this series, or of this tournament. And CSKA dominated the East Coast Selects by a score of 7-1. And as you said, CSKA, as we're seeing right now, they live and die by those fast breaks, taking advantage of every mistake. And East Coast Selects, they like to dominate inside the zone. And we'll see how the two teams have changed as we watch this game here.
And what sort of adjustments will come to the forefront. One thing about the CSKA cycle game is they're really activated when they face a little resiliency. Like when they have a penalty called against them or a goal is scored against them, that just sort of kicks them into another gear.
Or a goal is taken away from them.
Oh, exactly. And East Coast, they have shown that resiliency factor. They have played among the most one-goal games in the tournament. They had to win a big one-goal game to get to this big contest. But the good news for CSKA is they've also faced the resiliency. Their last two games in the round robin were also one-goal affairs. And that prepared them for what they needed to overcome Western Canada in the semifinal. A little bit of a cautious start. Here's a backhander by Komarov, denied and held onto by Gillette.
And Jaden Gillette is just being that brick wall that he's been all tournament. It was really the crowning moment for Jaden Gillette in this tournament was the game against Finland, where his team was outshot by almost 20 shots. He was able to keep them in it just long enough so they could score on the shootout, where Dean Letourneau was the hero in that shootout by scoring 4 goals in a shootout, just beating Finland who's had their captain score 3.
Basically doing his best TJ Oshie impression there.
I would use a Jonathan Taves more than anything.
That's good too. Here comes a great move down the left side. Seneca shot blocked in front. And he tries to get it back to the blue line. Mac McAlpine takes the shot, wristed away and held onto, but now loose behind the cage for Seneca in front. Rosensteel can't pull the trigger. Here comes a charge down the other side. Kozushko does a little spin, holding on, taking a shot. Save is made by Shelett. It handcuffed him, but he got a piece of his shoulder.
And
3 minutes gone in period number 1.
Mac McAlpine, one of the all-star defensemen for the East Coast Select, wearing number 70. We had a mistake, or not really a mistake. We didn't know he changed his number for this tournament. We've been calling him Agent 70 this entire time, and I think it's going to stick.
Yeah, if the parents are watching at home, please make that kid your nickname for sure. And we're so grateful to everybody that's tuned in on Legacy Live TV. And we've been supported by X1 Multimedia Solutions throughout the course of the tournament, and we will be getting their support in a couple of days as we drive back to Cormire and Chamonix right after the All-Star game to give coverage of the 05 boys. Hopefully it's as entertaining as the 06 boys have been. Really electrifying games, including that bronze medal match we just saw between Pro Hockey and Western Canada. Here's the maneuver to the net. Gleb Lagoda shouldered off the puck by Lucas Schaefer. There is going to be a call. And the referee has deemed that the goaltender's equipment is in need of some repair, so he is getting his pads a little bit tightened up a bit. So, Danoa Dutov does a little bit of maintenance work. And he will get himself ready. And Adam, I know Danoa Dutov in the preliminary round, a .915 save percentage. He's been very good as the referee had a little bit of a word with the CSKA coaching staff. As the puck is thrown up the right side for Caden Kelly across the line. This line doesn't get a lot of action compared to the other units, but they're very good at creating a lot of time and space in the attacking zone. Down the right wing. A nice little maneuver back to the right point. Tialegan tosses it down low to the right corner, but it's taken away. Janvira throws it down low to the attacking end. 4:37 gone in period number 1. A long lead pass, trying to dive for it was Okunev, but it's an icing call.
Well, this is a real goaltending battle in this game. Pretty much the stats for both goalies are identical. Christian Shelett has made 93 saves. Dutov has made 96. Both goalies have only allowed 7 goals in the tournament, while Shelett has a 1.6 goals against average, and Dutov has a 1.75, and the save percentage, 930 for Shelett, 932 for Dutov.
That is incredible, the amount of similarity between the two of them. Definitely MVPs of their team. Shot towards the goal, they score! Mac McAlpine, a big bomb from the left circle, makes it 1-0 for East Coast Selects.
Agent 70 had his mission to get his team on the board, and mission accomplished.
What a cannon from Mac McAlpine, putting his team up 1-0. There is your first goal of the championship game, 5:03 in.
And already you're seeing quite the difference from the opening game of this tournament for both of these teams. You're not seeing CSKA get those fast breaks that they constantly got. So as long as East Coast Selects are able to keep the CSKA players at bay, they will have a chance to win this game.
And now we'll see if CSKA Moscow could elevate their play a little bit and become more dangerous with their execution, like we said they do when they face a little bit of adversity. Here they come down low, trying to go right to the attack, wanting an instant equalizer. Fanning on that shot was Borobev, and the puck is cleared down to the other end. What a bomb by McAlpine, the all-star defenseman, showing off his stuff. And the puck is thrown up. Komarov had it taken away. Langstaff up the left side for Letourneau. Return pass. Langstaff's behind the defense. They tried to jam it on goal as Shuha was also there on the doorstep. Drops it back to the point. No shot. Now it's dumped down low. Letourneau holding on to that puck, protecting it well. Throwing it in front is taken away. Back comes CSKA. A bit of a 3-on-2. Maxime Zaitsev into the high slot, coming right towards the goal. It rolls by everybody. Mikhail Komarov behind the net. Sends it over to the left half wall. Timur Cole. In for Borovev. The other number 91 is shadowing him, Letourneau. Borovev had it stripped away, but it goes back for Cole. Over for Borovev. Timazov wants the puck. He gets the puck. He takes the shot, steered away by Select. Behind the net, Zaitsev. A big push from CSKA. Fanning on a shot attempt was Komarov, but he got it back for Timazov in the right corner. Maxime Zaitsev the first. Makes a move into the circle, back to the point. Here comes a shot, blocked in front. Cole is one that likes to let it rip, but he couldn't make it happen. Here comes a 2-on-1 for East Coast, but it's going to be offside.
That was not offside, but that's not the way the linesman
And there
had
is
it.
a lot of anger from the East Coast bench about that call.
Langstaff's skate was right on the line. That should not have been called.
So a missed call, but they're going to shake it off, as Taylor Swift would say, and move on to another shift. And I just saw Adam shake his head. No more Taylor Swift references then.
Bad Quentin.
And it's going to be Udva playing with that puck. In the attacking zone. Intercepted by Bolzano. Pushes it out to center. The other number 11 there is thrown back. Tia Lagan wants to go D-to-D, but a lot of pressure is being applied by Bolzano. A little bit of indecisiveness inside of the CSKA zone. Puck is played up the right wing. It is going to be Kozushko weaving to the inside. Almost was able to create a dangerous chance. Behind the net, Matt Vako. Had it stripped away by Bolzano, but can't get it out. He whiffed on the centering pass. Lina to the blue line. But that's as far as he got, but a follow-up play, and it gets out to center. A lot of good defensive detail by East Coast, doing an effective job of layering to not allow those fast breaks into the middle of the slot. But a 3-on-2 for CSKA. Kozushko down the middle, Fan on a shot. And Adam, is it just me, or are CSKA fanning on a lot of shots in this game so far?
Well, what it is that they're really trying to force the puck down the middle into the slot, and East Coast isn't letting them have their way. Their sticks are in the way. So what's happening is they're fanning on it because East Coast is mostly trying to get a stick on them.
East Coast is playing that destructive game that they played in the semifinal, trying to do that to great effect to win that gold medal. 8:41 gone in the first period. They scored at 5:03 of the first.
Well, earlier we've talked about Christian Chuha. We've talked about Dean Letourneau. The third man on their line is Colin Langstaff. He has been the real grinder of the line. For his team, the Elgin Middlesex Chiefs, they're ranked 5th in Ontario, by the way. He has 66 goals and 69 assists this season. And he likes to eat beef jerky before every game. I'm hoping he had one for today before this one.
I'm sure his parents and coach were able to get him that precious jerky. And you gotta love it when a player has a superstition. I had a player at a last tournament that needs to eat a granola bar. The little things that make a game day special for every player. The CSKA fans have been loud and vocal throughout the entirety of the tournament. And the drum is really steadily beating, trying to will their team to a tying goal. A chance for Lagoda, and that didn't get to the net. No clear shooting angles in the middle of the ice. As CSKA has been kept to the outside. A fan shot by Sheridan. Piroshkov gets it down low to the left corner. It is played along and centered, but fanning on that attempt and not getting a piece was number 52 Piroshkov. Nikita Frolov, the captain. Backhand pass to the blue line, but not being able to hold it in to Shuravin. McAlpine up the middle. Shuravin kicks it to a stick. Across the line, but intercepted, held in. But stripped away. It might be a breakaway pass. Coming right at Estetico. Load. He's not able to pull the trigger in time.
One move too many.
He had the goaltender down. He made all the right moves, but he wasn't able to actually get the shot on goal. Here's Schaefer from the left point. Slides it behind the net. And it's going to be a try by Timazov to get it out. They can't. Schaefer does a nice job pinching. It's pushed off the wall by Langstaff. Trying to grind away another chance, but it's taken away and thrown to center. And there's an errant stick on the ice. Letourneau gloves down the bouncing puck. Overtaken though by Dontsov. He lost it. Langstaff on the counterattack. Charging down the left wing on his backhand. Timazov tips it away from him. Up for grabs on the corner. And Timazov takes over. Looking to make a lead pass. Settles for a D-to-D. Throws it ahead for Dontsov. Has to wait for some reinforcements. A behind the back feed was taken away and thrown out to center. Right now, I'd have to say the CSKA seems very perplexed by the defensive alignment of the East Coast Selects. Shot on goal, though, is stopped by the goaltender.
That's what happens when you play each other multiple times. You learn from the last time.
Tealegan, stick handling very well behind the net for Komarov. Holding on to it. Looking to throw it cross ice as Dontsov's on the doorstep. Dontsov had to go behind the net to try and get the puck, but it's kept away from him. Tealegan has it. Slides it ahead. It's out of the reach of the attacker Okunev, and that leads to an icing. So that's a reminder, 5:30, the All-Star game. The last 2 years have been won by the North American All-Stars, but in 2015, it was Europe coming out on top. Will there be a Europe victory to tie the deadlock at 2 over the last 4 years? And I only talk about the last 4 years because on the Legacy Global Sports websites, those are the only results that are available. It is going to be a nice little maneuver up the middle for Vorobev. He's forced to turn back. There's been a lot of that happening in this game. Up for Maxim Zaitsev. There's 2 of them, remember. One wears 16, the other 72. They don't play together, though, so that's a bit of a relief for us broadcasters. It is going to be a chance for Willamette from a perimeter, and that's stopped by the goaltender Dutov. Lead pass. Here comes the chance for Zaitsev. Taking a shot, glove down by Shelett. And that draws some cheers from the East Coast faithful. 7:14 remaining in period number 1. East Coast in the driver's seat because of that goal by Mac McAlpine. Plenty of game breakers on the ice looking to try and tie this game at 1. I've been very impressed with the play of number 21, Dmitry Udfa. Very good power forward, a beast on the doorstep of the crease. Kozushko, a very good stick handler, did a bit of a spinorama that was taken away by Bales, and Seneca gets it to the blue line and just out. Lafon races for it. He has a lane, comes to the high slot, takes a shot. Paz save is made by Dutov. And he's trying to dig for it along with Rosensteel. It's kept away. Kozushko advances it for Tealegan. It's being pursued. Utfa in the far corner. Bales goes after it. Utfa shakes him off behind the cage. It's thrown in front, just wide of the cage by number 11, Medveko. Kozushko twisting and turning. Does a little bit of a button hook in front, but doesn't work. Spin around a chance, and it's not able to get on goal. But now they're really applying a lot of pressure. Kozushko weaves to the inside. Backhander hit the side. Rosensteel gets it to the right wall, but can't get it out. Behind the net, Kazushko really creating a lot of difficulty for the defense. In the corner, craftily waiting for a play, throws across ice. Shurabin not able to get there in time to bang it on goal. He fell down, it's up for grabs, but I have to say it's probably over a minute now of continuous puck possession in the attacking zone. It's thrown in front, but they can't get it out. East Coast is sort of under siege, even though they haven't really allowed a lot of shots on the sequence. But now a counterattack, 3-on-2. Seneca dropped it back, but his mates were changing.
Well, that's what happens when you spend so much time in your own zone.
Counterattack for Piroshkov, down the right side, he hit the far post. Inches away from equalizing this affair at 1-all.
And Christian Bale was exhausted, or Christian Bale was absolutely exhausted on that play. And he just swipes the puck on the line, and that's where we get that icing.
Mitch Larner talking to his team, a little bit better communication because Seneca.
That was Seneca, I apologize.
3-on-2 there.
Yeah. Seneca was out there for a very long time. He was exhausted.
And it will be number 91, Letourneau, losing that draw. He's been so good on the faceoffs, but he loses this one. Puck is thrown out to center. Langstaff tries to win a race and get in front of Frolov. Almost did, but it was kept away. Nice recovery there by Frolov to keep it away. Bit of a lead pass. Letourneau overtakes the puck, comes down the right side, in the corner, wants to make a centering pass. But overtaking possession is number 28, Timazov. Twisting and turning, throwing it ahead. Puck is gloved down at center. Played over for Frolov. Backhand shovel pass. Did not connect to his mates. It rolled down to Shelette. And Piroshkov was down on the ice, but he gets back to his feet.
Well, yeah, I think he was more down on the ice because he was so frustrated in the fact that he couldn't get a proper shot on net. Yeah, that was just more exasperation than an injury.
It would be very hard to speculate, but I'd have to say this is the longest that CSKA has been held off the board into a hockey game. Almost 16 minutes, no goal for them yet. This would be frustrating territory for their snipers because they've made it look so easy. Okunev behind the net. Thrown in front, they score! Okunev in front for Dontsov, and he fired it down low past the goaltender to the far side. We are tied at 1, 15:57 into the period.
Well, you spoke too soon, Quentin. They score right after you suggest that they haven't scored. They must be frustrated for not scoring after 16 minutes. So that is Dontsov's 8th goal of the tournament and his 13th point.
A big-time goal for this team, deadlocked at 1 apiece. Game on between these two opponents.
And you have to wonder, you look at Dontsov and how he has been the top player for his team. Dean Letourneau is supposed to be the best offensive weapon for the East Coast Selects.
Here comes a drive, backhander by Zaitsev, wide of the goal. Not able to really get that backhander on goal quick enough. Holding on to it though. Back for Rodionov, return play. They go back and forth. Trying to steal it is Lafond, digging for it, along with Rosensteel. He gets it to the line and out. Lafond sends it the rest of the way.
Well, Dean Letourneau is supposed to be the best offensive weapon for the East Coast Selects. He has not really dominated in any game aside from the shootout victory.
Yeah, it really has been that line of Seneca, Rosensteel, and also a lot of good play from the third member of that line, and they've been really wanting to make a lot of good things happen, but I still have to say that the Shuha, Letourneau, and Langstaff line has been dynamic. Shot on the doorstep, they can't get it there.
Well, Chuha's best game was our semifinal game.
Absolutely.
So we're still waiting for Letourneau to make his presence known.
Definitely capable of doing that. He did score the only goal in that opening game against CSKA Moscow. So perhaps this is the team that he will elevate his game against. In addition to that shootout, of course. 2:33 remains in period number 1. A 1-1 tie between East Coast and CSKA. And a new puck is required. So Rosensteel, Lafon, and also Seneca. They'll be getting a lot of minutes from this game forward as they want to try and manufacture the go-ahead goal. Dimitri Utva takes a shot right into the glove of the goaltender Select. Pace of the game is quieted a little bit, and I'm sure that's okay with both teams. They just want to make sure that they're not running too hot so the mistakes are made. Rosensteel against Matveyko. And the draw is won by East Coast, and it's thrown all the way out to center. A little bit of good puck possession as CSKA gets organized. Kazushko across the line. Dangling of that puck, but it's dug away from him by Lafon. Nice battle between the two of them. Puck is held in by Timazov. Thrown up the right side for Seneca, barely out to center. Rosensteel applies pressure on Cole. Seneca takes over the line, comes to the high slot, tries to weave his way in, but was denied passage. Puck thrown on goal from the blue line, and a save is made by Dutov, and Dutov got a little whack from Seneca, and the goaltender didn't like that.
A little bit of a snow shower, too.
Yeah, so the goaltender Dutov is trying to plead his case to the referee, but they will remain 5-on-5.
Well, Dutov probably didn't like the whack, but Seneca was playing until he heard the whistle.
Shot towards the goal, and that was Shuha. Puck is thrown out to center. McAlpine, D to D. Bales throws it up the right wing. And of course, Bales had a big game in that quarterfinal win that went against the Sweden Selects and scored a big goal, and he's been a very steady pillar of defense. And he's played with this East Coast team at other events like the Elite 8 tournament that we called last year.
As well as the Hall of Fame tournament that's going on right now.
Yeah, he did. And his father, of course, was involved as the goalie coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
For 2 of their Stanley Cup victories.
And I do love that photo of him taking a little bit of a car ride with the Stanley Cup as his go-to passenger. Shot towards the goal, that's blocked. McAlpine can't get it out. 35 seconds remains on the clock in period number 1. Hiroshkov holds on, over to Tielegan. Wrist shot towards the goal, out of the glove of Letourneau when it went to the far corner. Kept alive, Barbashin. He's a defensive blue liner, not a lot of points from him. Tielegan's also a defensive blue liner who gave away the puck there. A chance maybe for McAlpine across the line, curves his way in, gets tied up with Tielegan, and time is going to expire in the first period with a 1-1 tie between these two teams. So a big goal by McAlpine, answered by Donsov. We go to the first intermission tied at 1. But Adam, what are your impressions of a back and forth first period?
Well, just like it was with the Western Canada Selects game against the CSKA, if you tell the East Coast Selects that they're going to be tied going into the second period, they'll take it. Especially if CSKA can only score 1 goal in that first period.
Considering, I believe it was 3 or 4 to 1 for CSKA in that opening game between these two teams. So, enormous amount of improvement. What are they doing so differently?
Well, they've been taking away the center of the ice, and they've just been making sure that they're watching their own blue line when they're attacking down low, which doesn't allow the CSKA to go out on those 2-on-1 breaks. They're being a little bit more careful with getting their defensemen in on the offense, but it's also saving them on the defense.
And of course, CSKA showed that they are a multi-dimensional offensive team. Yeah, if the cycle is the only thing available to them, they'll do that if the rushes are taken away, and that's what led to that goal.
Yes, and they just exude confidence. They know they were down 1-0. They know they can come back and win at any point in this game. And with it tied at 1, they're just okay with it as well.
And we will see these two teams revved up, trying to get that beautiful gold trophy that we saw downstairs And it should be a wonderful sight to see one of these teams take that picture of center ice with that trophy. We'll be back to see find out who it is in a matter of 12 minutes. Kind of a sleepy period. And it'll have little spurts, but not exciting enough for me. with our Twitter. Maybe ask, email Lucas and get him to send me your credential photo. Like I was really able to send mine, and he didn't put that on WSI Color Guide. And this gave me a new Facebook photo too. I desperately needed one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the finale of the World Selects Invitational for 2006 boys between the East Coast Selects and CSKA Moscow. My name is Quentin Amundsen, joined by Adam Kirschenblatt, and we're so happy that you have watched this presentation, Legacy Live TV, and are back to enjoy what sure is to be a great second period. And Adam, in case people are just joining us, why don't you recap what went down in the first 20 minutes?
All right, so the game got started, or at least the scoring got started, with Mac McAlpine, Agent 70, had scoring within the first 5:03 in the first period. And it stayed that way for about 10 minutes when Alexei Dontsov finally broke through Jaden Shillette, and he got his goal to tie the game up from Ivan Okunev, and that is where we are right now. The shot totals, according to the website, is 16-9 for CSKA, but remember, CSKA was fighting to try and come back during that entire period.
And CSKA, of course, is so good at scoring early in periods. East Coast has been doing that too. A lot of early goals today in the second period.
Well, in all four games that we've seen today, whether it be the two semifinals or the bronze medal game, there's been a goal scored within the first 2 minutes of the period begins. So that's something you should watch out for, and that's something both goalies are going to watch out for and both coaches.
And both teams have plenty of candidates to score that early goal to get momentum, because that type of goal in the early minutes could really launch them on their pathway to gold.
So one thing that we've noticed thus far, and could still be a big factor in this game, is there haven't been any penalties. Right now, the referees have been letting them play, but there hasn't been any obvious calls. So that's something to watch out for both teams. They want to remain disciplined, make sure that they're the ones deciding this game, and don't give the referees any excuse to call a penalty against them.
Exactly. So both teams are getting a little bit of a chance to refresh their legs before doing battle here at the Palalanda Arena. And we're going to see the trophy awarded here, and this is a building that's seen many trophies. I look at those banners like I've had all week, and there has been a total of 19 championships that's been awarded to the HC Boson Foxes over the years, an organization that first came into being in the early 60s and last won their championship in 2012.
And one of the more prominent players that have played for the Bozen Foxes is none other than number 68, future Hall of Famer himself, Jaromir Jagr. And he played during the 1995 lockout. And when the lockout was over and he came from the Foxes back to the NHL, he won the Art Ross Trophy.
And a couple of other legends that played for this team includes Mark Napier and Stanley Cup champion Glenn Anderson. I believe he won 6, right?
Right.
Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers.
Right. And not only Stanley Cup champion, but Hockey Hall of Famer. Exactly. And as well, there's Sylvain Turgeon, another prominent NHL player.
And that Jaromir Jagr, he has a pretty good chance of making it in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's just like any of our future legends back in Toronto.
Exactly. It's going to be a nice little rush into the attacking zone for Rodionov. And the CSKA fans are in full force. They want that goal, and they want it now.
Well, they have that chant going. They have the drum. Earlier, they were singing songs, so they're having fun out there.
Oh, yeah. We've seen the drums. We've seen the harmonicas. We've heard the chants.
Don't forget the megaphone.
And the megaphone, of course, yes. And a goal horn if Slovakia plays. Here comes the rush down the middle. Stetica's alone. Forehander. And he's denied by the goaltender Duchov. Big time save early in the period to give his team a little bit of a boost.
Beckett Seneca is going to see Dutoff in his nightmares. That's the second time he's not been able to score on him on a breakaway.
And it will be a rush up the left side. Shuravan had it turned away from him. Heinen lobs it right down to him. Letourneau battling against Timazov. Really good feverish puck battle. And of course, every board battle is huge in the gold medal game as the shot goes wide by Letourneau. Everybody will be scratching and clawing just like they're in the trenches of a war. On the attack, it's Maxim Zaitsev, the second one, number 72, throwing it all the way over to the left side. And it'll be a nice little push out to center for Langstaff. Taken away, and he'll go for a change. CSKA gets reset. Long stretch pass for Okunev. Jams it all the way to the far corner boards. Zaitsev being shot out by Buffon. Puck is held in, thrown towards the goal from the right point. And Timazov is denied by Shelett.
Well, if you're looking for one guy on East Coast Select to be the difference maker and to score that big goal, look no further than Maxime Lafon. We saw that last year, a year ago pretty much right now, at the Hall of Fame tournament, scoring the gold medal goal.
And he has scored a lot of big goals in this tournament too. But yeah, what a great moment. That was a year ago today, actually, that happened. A year ago
today, in overtime to win.
Rosensteel throws it over to Botno, and the game happened to be 2-1. Will history repeat itself? ... CSKA hopes so. Here comes the chance towards the net. A save is made by Shelett, and that is number 91, Vorobyev. And Vorobyev has had some very solid stats in this tournament. More of a support player, but he has been very dominant as well.
So in the preliminary round, he had a goal and 2 assists. And so far in the playoff rounds, it's only been 1 extra assist after that. But he has been dangerous all over the ice.
Referees are getting set up for the face-off to the far side. Puck is taken by Donsov, thrown to the middle. Has it back on his blade, forehand shot, steered away by the blocker of Shelett. It was loose on the doorstep and shoveled towards the goal by Utva. And Shalett's there to make the save.
Well, Arseny Vorobyev, he likes to read in his downtime. His mom is a figure skater. His dad played hockey and football as a kid.
Shot off the draw. Big save is made by Shelett. They try to backdoor it in, hit the side. But that was Rodonov's big bomb that was denied by the pad of Shelett. What a big-time save by the goaltender Shelett to keep it 1-1.
And his favorite player is Nikita Kucherov, who is starring for the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. he studied at his school.
And I believe today's the day that they played the Boston Bruins to start their second round series. And it will be a nice little play over to the right side for Lakota. Chipping it free for his teammate. Return pass for Lakota. Looking to throw it in front. Rosensteel's all over him. Lakota tries to get free, but Heine gets in his path. Puck is tipped out to center. Angled along for Piroshkov. Ahead for Nikita Frolov, the captain. Wrist shot was blocked. Tried to follow it up, but Heine is able to stay with him and shut him down. He has control. Throwing it up the right side for Seneca. Weaves his way around to the outside. Tries to push it ahead, but it is intercepted. Here comes a nice little rush. Piroshkov fires the puck wide of the cage.
And Piroshkov's going to be somebody to watch out for CSKA. He has 8 goals and 1 assist in this tournament, so he's a real sniper.
He's a guy that doesn't need a lot of time and a lot of space, but I could pretty much be describing all the players on this roster for CSKA. And that is Donsov playing in combination with Piroshkov right now. You don't see that very often. Usually they're kept apart. Piroshkov dropping it back for Timazov. Over to Piroshkov, back to the left point. They're trying to slide it through. Barbashin in the left corner, trying to walk in front. It's number 72, Maxim Zaitsev, but it's kept away and thrown out to center. And Zaitsev lost his stick on the play. He'll just go off to the bench for a new one. A little bit of an errant pass, wide of the defenseman. Barbashin goes back. Slides it onto the blade of Komarov. Ahead for Donsov again. Donsov wheels to the outside. Drops it back to the right point. Tialegan looking to shoot. Can't let it fly yet. On the left point. Barbashin throws it to the slot area looking for a tip. Denied. Now backhanded down low. A lot of good puck possession, but the collapsing box of the defense for East Coast is doing a nice job keeping CSKA to the outside. Tialegan a shot, wires wide, ricocheted off the backboard. Komarov, Barbashin tries to throw it down low one more time, but intercepted. And Seneca comes down the right wing along with Shuha. He throws it across. Shuha backhander. Save is made by Dutov. It's loose behind him. Letourneau has it. Looking to center. Not able to hit the back of the net. Tialegan throws it at the blue line to desperation. Heine keeps it alive. They are going after the puck. It is LaBerge trying to throw it on net, but it was blocked by the defenseman Tialegan. Pace is starting to pick up. 5:52 played in the gold medal game second period. Mikhail Komarov hooks it in front. Rosensteel had to be careful. It almost rolled off his stick right to the goaltender. Seneca tried to pickpocket and go behind the goaltender, but that was denied. Mikhail Komarov coming up the left wing. Cutting towards the goal. Drops it back. Rodionov a shot. Blocked by the defenseman's skate. That was actually Rosensteel getting that off his skate. Rodionov, the defenseman, is deep. He really does play like a rover. No problems of coming down low to be the forward checker. And he is doing a nice job. East Coast can't contain him. He's dropped back to the right point. Komarov, who took Rodionov's place, it just throws it down low. On the left point, shot towards the net. And that was ramped a little bit wide off of Rosensteel. Really good defensive detail at both ends of the ice. Langstaff angling for that puck. Wants to initiate the forward check, but can't get control. Twisting and turning, spinning is Maxim Zaitsev. Gets it across the line for number 10, Shuravin. Langstaff throws it to the right point, can't get it out. Thrown down low. It will be number 76, Bales, backhanding it along the near side. Shuravin trying to hold the line, does a really mighty job and does so successfully. He was under a lot of pressure from a couple of attackers, but managed to hold the puck in. Finally, East Coast is able to get out. They get into the attacking zone. Langstaff is knocked down. No penalties yet, and there won't be one there. A puck is stolen. Seneca down low, shot. Big save is made by Dudov. And that was Langstaff being denied by the pad of the goaltender.
Again, Beckett Seneca having a real tough time getting the puck back to Dudov. He plays for the Toronto Marlboros back in Ontario. They are ranked number 2 in Ontario. And I love how he chose his number. He wears number 45 because that is what channel Teletoon is. For our American audience, Teletoon is the equivalent of the Cartoon Network in Canada. So, man after my own heart.
I was literally about to say those words, Adam, a man after your own heart, because of the anime fandom that you have, and I'm sure there's a lot of good shows on that network. Maybe one day you and Seneca will just have to have a conversation about Teletoon.
Yeah. And his mom also is played on the Canadian national volleyball team, so athletics runs in his family.
Piroshkov weaves his way to the inside, tried to tip it behind the goaltender. It was just around the near post, so.
And Dad played soccer in Europe, where we are right now.
Where we are right now and where we will be for the next 2 weeks. We are going to Chamonix and Courmayeur to do the 2005 World Selects Invitational, but our colleague Brendan Ferreira will enjoy the wonderful weather of Bolzano a little bit more, staying here to call the U15 girls. Shuha trying to get that puck out. It's held in. Zaitsev a shot just wide to the far side. Ricocheted in front of a backhand. No one was there on the lip of the crease. Another shot from the perimeter, and that was turned away from Gillette. A little bit of a shooting gallery by Shuravin and company as they want to try and find the magic shot that makes it 2-1 for them. Now a steal, a backhander's wide of the cage, and that one came from Okunev. Okunev out of the left corner, behind the net, throws it in front, just wide. They throw it in front again, and almost a ricochet right behind the goaltender, but very alert defensively with Shuha along with Heine. Thrown in front one more time in the slot, but Heine's there one more time to get it out. Letourneau and company having a tough time exiting out of the zone. Rodionov holds it in, pulls it to his forehand. It slid along the half wall, into the right circle. Dontsov almost had a chance to maybe go back door as Zaitsev was all alone on the near side looking for the one-timer. 10:25 remains in period number 2. And just a reminder, if this game is deadlocked at the end of 40 minutes, we go to a 3-on-3 overtime for 5 minutes.
Jaden Gillette wisely covered the puck on that
Shot towards
play.
the goal, and a save is made again by Gillette.
As he does once again, just to get his team to be able to take a break, change some players, also slow down the legs of the CSKA.
And both these teams have become very experienced at the one-goal games. 4 of the last 5 games for CSKA have been one-goal affairs, and East Coast has played in 5 one-goal games as well.
And now we're hearing an East Coast chant in the crowd.
Yeah, the parents want to let the CSKA fans know they're not the only one having fun watching this game. So the rivalry is a little bit of a subplot here. Good to have the different styles of cheering between North America and Europe meld together here in a nice fusion. And it's only fitting because if you look at Bolzano, they're a fusion of Italian, German, and other cultures. Shot on goal, big save is made by Gillette. And that was Vorobev on the doorstep. Very sneaky. That's where he usually is, and it was almost rewarded with a goal. Coming right in down the middle is Cole. Protected the puck well. A real good surge here for CSKA. Shot from the right point from Komarov, didn't get through, and it's rejected and thrown down to the other end of the ice.
How funny would that have been if it went in? After all Beckett Seneca had done to try and get through.
Oh, yes, indeed. Here is a nice little charge up the middle. LeBerge, very steady. And you and I talked today that we haven't really mentioned LeBerge and Schaefer, but they're solid together as a tandem.
Yeah, well, if they've been the real guys responsible for not letting CSKA get their man advantages like we saw earlier in this tournament.
Almost as a hallmark of being good defensively, you don't want to hear your name being called by a play-by-play announcer in a game. Shot towards the net. That was a little bit wide and blocked. Once again, the pace is sort of settling down a little bit. We had a little bit of an elevation in pace, a couple of back and forth chances, but both teams are really settling into the reality that this will be a one-goal game. They don't want to give up the second goal. Of course they want to score it, but they don't want to give up that second one. Because some people say the joy of winning sometimes doesn't match the disappointment of losing. But these two teams absolutely know what winning's all about. CSKA has won all year together as a team. East Coast has had so many of their players come back from other successful tournaments.
We have 6 of them back from the Elite 8 tournament where they completely dominated.
I believe they outscored their opposition 30-4 in that tournament. As they come towards the goal, Seneca was on that team. A big-time player, almost was able to make a big-time move to the net.
Well, right now we got Seneca and Rosensteel as well, who was on that team. And he has been the heart and soul of this East Coast Selects throughout this tournament, scoring big goals. We have yet to hear from him today.
Not yet, but there is plenty of time for a hero to step forward.
I shouldn't say today, in this game,
yes,
because he did score in the semifinal.
It is going to be number 45, Seneca, dumping that puck down low into the attacking zone. And I love the official timekeepers here. They've been playing Bonnie Tyler's Hero song late in the game when there is a 1-goal deficit or a tie game. I wonder if we're going to hear it today. Here's a chance on goal. They score! There's your hero as of this moment. Danil Poroshkov is able to make a power move out of the corner, weaves to the front, and tucks it behind Gillette to make it 2-1 for CSKA.
Well, it's just a matter of time for Poroshkov to make his presence felt. As I mentioned earlier, he had, before that goal, had 8 goals and 1 assist. That's number 9. So that East Coast Selects has their work cut out for them. Try and get that tying goal, while CSKA, they're not really known for their defending a lead, but they're going to have to be put in that position today.
Number 52, Poroshkov, the hero of the moment. Will East Coast change the script? They have 6:53 to try and make that happen, but the clock winded down a couple of more seconds to 6:50, but they'll probably just roll on. That sometimes this happens with the clock.
Yes, and if you're East Coast, you have a difficult decision to make. You need to open this game up and get some more pucks on net. Do you activate your defense and try and get some shots to the net? If you do that, you run the risk of CSKA using those odd man rushes and those that burned you in the past.
And CSKA has been really held in check. You would really be feeding into their bread and butter. And they're trying to get a 3-2-goal lead here. It's down low, it's Donsov. He scored the first goal. Twisting and turning, holding on, throws it to the slot. It goes past everybody to the neutral zone. Keemer Cole bangs it into the attacking end. Racing after it, Schaefer tries to keep it away. Rachino backhands it, tries to poke it out. Donsov had it intercepted by Seneca, and he barges it out to center. 6:05 remaining in period number 2. CSKA is in full command right now with a 2-1 lead. East Coast will just need a little bit of a catalyst to wake them up a little bit, because they've been content with just kind of grinding back and forth. Really has been CSKA taking a lot of the chances over the last few minutes. What does East Coast need to do here?
Well, they have to find a way to slow down the CSKA offense. CSKA, they haven't needed to play defense. They've been in the offensive zone the entire time. So you got to find a way to put pressure on them and make sure you get them back on their heels. Because we've seen them already. We've had at least three or four chances by Seneca, 1 big chance by Chuha, and if you can get one by Dutov there, it will be quite a different game.
Here comes a charge down the left wing. Poroshkov wants another one, fires it wide. He was wanting to find Shervadin coming off the point. Puck is nestled all the way down into the attacking zone. Lagoda lead pass. LeBerge goes back in his own territory. Flo is being taken out of the game a little bit. A little bit of errant plays in the neutral zone, trying to take advantage is Zaitsev. Maxim Zaitsev hooks it in front, and the slot area is taken away by Lafon. can't get it out quite yet. 4:50 remains in period number 2. This has been a game of no power play chances for either team, completely in their hands to determine the victor. LeBarish, D-to-D pass for Schaefer. Tried to nudge it ahead for Lafon, but intercepted. Back the other way, and it's going to be Donsov, holding on behind the cage. All over him as Schaefer is thrown in front. A one-timer scores! A big-time move, and it's a big-time goal for Okunev, as it was Donsov making a highlight reel pass in front for Okunev to make it 3-1.
Well, like you said, that most of that play was Donsov with that pass. Very few players without that skill, very few players with that skill set can make that pass accurately, and he found a way to get it from the corner into the slot, and Okunev made no mistake.
And Okunev has the 2-goal lead for his team, and the East Coast Selects will have 4 minutes and 20 seconds to try and get back into this.
Now that is Okunev's that is Okunev's second goal of the tournament.
He's been all over the place in terms of being the guy that always leads the charge down the ice. This time, he was just really staying in the one spot. It came to him with a great pass from Donsov, and it's 3-1 for his team. Puck is thrown all the way down to the attacking end. East Coast is in need of somebody to make a big play to try and catalyze them a little bit. They have been put in neutral mode basically for the last 10 minutes. Not a lot of offensive chances to speak of. Seneca is the guy that maybe will make that happen. Throws it over to McAlpine. He's a guy that can make something happen. He scored the first goal for his team. That was all the way back at 5:03 of the first. East Coast struck first, but now 3 straight goals for CSKA. Going on the attack is Bolzano. Intercepted by the defense. Zaitsev tries to stab it out, but held in by Heine. Shot towards the goal, steered to the corner easily by Dutov. Puck kick soccer style out to center. Intercepted by Langstaff. Down the right side, his shot is easily snared and it goes into play, and he goes after it, trying to keep play going. On the left point, Janvira. Behind the net, Shuha. Had his stick lifted. Keeping it in is Heine on the pinch. There's the activation of the defense, trying to keep the puck possession going. Goaltender has been pulled. He was almost to the bench, but now he has to come back, as it was CSKA getting inside the attacking zone. 2:32 remaining in period number 2. You know they want to pull Shalette as soon as possible. They tried to, and now they'll try again. Shalette is making his way to the bench. 6-on-5, Komarov gets it ahead for Donsov. In the neutral zone, a chance for an empty net. Coming towards the goal, they shoot, they score! A 4-1 lead for CSKA Moscow.
The unfortunate thing, when they pulled Jaden Shalette, they also had 2 East Coast Select players changing at the same time. That left Langstaff charging in his own end alone. That allowed them to give up the puck, and it end up in the back of their own net.
Gleb Lagoda puts the dagger in the heart of the East Coast Select championship chances. Unless something happens immediately. Immediately, I mean. In the next 30 seconds, they have to try and score that goal and then pull their goaltender again. Well, you think that maybe they pull him again now if they could?
It might be a situation where they keep pulling him to try and get back in, which will make the score look like it was more lopsided than it was. But unfortunately, that is the situation that East Coast Selects are in.
But CSKA will send it all the way down into East Coast territory to kill off some more seconds. 1:50 remains on East Coast clock. Kelly throws it into the attacking zone. It's taken away. And it's all the way into the defensive end for East Coast one more time. A timeout has been called.
The chants of CSKA have been all throughout this arena. That is CSKA for English. And they are just partying right now.
I apologize, there was actually an icing call, but he was actually looking at the coaches, so it looked like it was maybe going to be a timeout, but just an icing.
And Gillette staying in the net.
99 seconds remaining on the clock, and just look at what CSK has been able to accomplish, starting their tournament with such style, 7-1 over the East Coast Selects. They never looked anything but dominant in this tournament. Then they beat the Midwest Selects 7-2. Then they tamed Slovakia 6-2. Ran into some difficulty in their last two preliminary round games, as they were able to almost get another chance on goal. It was 4-3 over the Western Canada Selects and 4-3 over Sweden. They were able to run into a really good, resilient Czech Knights team in the round of 16, 7-4. And then a big-time test to handle the Finland Selects 5-1. It was closer than that score indicated because of a great goaltending performance by Dutov. It's been the combination of the forwards, the strong defense, the game-breaking, and they have a great backbone by Dudov and also Mikhail Igorov. The depth in this lineup was staggering. Only 2 players were kept off the board in the point tally in the preliminary round. And more of those players stepped up in the round of 16, the quarterfinal, and also the semifinal, and now today in the championship final. Really, they have played a marvelous tournament. They have not lost a single game, and they are going to be worthy champions in 30 seconds.
Well, a lot of the focus is going to be on Poroshkov after he scored the go-ahead goal in midway through the second period. But really, this victory belongs to Dutov. He is the MVP of this game, stopping Jaden Gillette not one, not twice, but 3 times, as well as Christian Chuhov alone in front of the net.
And the puck goes out to center. The drum is going to bang. The flag will be waved. CSKA and their fans are going to celebrate a World Selects Invitational Championship. Everybody mauls Dutov in celebration. One of their heroes. One of many MVPs on this team, because this team was deep. They attacked very hard. Every player has significant contributions, and now they will wear their championship hats. Their equipment littered on the ice in celebration. But before we go back to talking about the virtues of this winning team, let's give a moment to show a little bit of love to the finalists. The East Coast Selects were very worthy of their spot here today.
They had every opportunity to win this game. They should not feel bad about the way they played today. They unfortunately, this was essentially a 1-goal game for the entire game until late in the second period. And they were just not able to beat Dutov when they had the opportunity, and CSKA were able to beat Gillette when the opportunities came for them.
Really good sportsmanship at center between these 2 mighty opponents. And a lot of love was shown by the players by giving a couple of little taps to Dutov, recognizing like, hey, you're a really good goaltender and you got the better of us today. And the 2 goaltenders gave each other a hug. Landon Miller, another key goaltender. Of course, he was the big architect and the reason why this team got to this point today.
Pretty much they're all getting hugs as they go through. There's a lot of respect for these 2 teams.
Yeah, really well coached and really well put together by all these different players. And of course, CSKA, so dominant in their own Moscow league as champions in that league. And now they come here, play the best against North America and all over the world, and they are victorious. Last year they were knocked out in the semifinals. Very tough loss, 3-2. They were able to reverse their fate and win big time. And Western Canada is now going to come on the ice, winners of the bronze medal. And what a mighty game they played against Pro Hockey. It was 5-1 for Western Canada. Pro Hockey stormed back, but then a big goal with 30 seconds left made it 6-5.
And Canton scoring that goal with 30 seconds left. I saw him get the puck afterwards, pick it up and keep it as a keepsake. That'll be one of his favorite hockey memories when we do this tournament next year.
Absolutely, and Poroshkov was a big-time hero for his team, and of course, Dutov. We're going to get some awards handed out. Of course, the championship trophy and the wonderful silver plate that will go to the runner-up. We're going to see the bronze medal presentations, and of course, making the presentation will be Lucas Havlicek, one of the organizers of the tournament, along with Robin Enderoff, who has the mic. We're not too sure how good the sound system is. We'll try and narrate a little bit of what's going on down there. It's a couple moment delay as everybody gets set up. Western Canada at center, and the two teams on the other blue lines. So Robin Enderoff thanking all the staff, thanking all the parents and players and the referees as well.
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Jaden Shillette chosen as the player of the game for the East Coast Selects.
Not surprising.
Not surprising in the least. You could say player of the tournament maybe for this team, but they have a couple of candidates. And he'll be given a stick as well, and great picture with Lucas Havlicek, one of the organizers at center.
And
Evan Kivaharju is named the best defenseman of the tournament.
Not surprising at all. He is one of probably, I wouldn't be surprised, or wouldn't be hard to say he was the best player in this tournament.
I would definitely put him in that category for sure. He's the player that really electrified me, but there were so many candidates. So best goaltender, Shillette, best defenseman, Kivaharju. And it's going to be number 91, Thomas Mersick, named as the best forward. Very good choice.
They had a few choices on that Western Canada team if they wanted to. But Thomas Mersick, as his coach described him, the most complete player on that team.
Yeah, definitely backed up those credentials by his coach, Jason Nicolas. And being named as a MVP is number 9, Alexei Donsov. There were so many good candidates, but Donsov just brought it every single game. He was a machine with his offense. 8 goals, 7 assists, and 15 points. What really attracted you about Donsov's play, Adam?
Well, it was all around. Like Poroshkov, who got the game winner, he had 9 goals in this tournament, but no assists. You saw Donsov just being a good passer as well as a good goal scorer, and that makes for an MVP type candidate.
And he made that highlight reel pass to Okunev to score that back-breaking 3-1 goal. So all the players on East Coast are surrounding Shillette, congratulating him.
And West Coast is now getting their bronze medals.
Yeah, Western Canada getting those bronze medals at center. And Lucas Havlicek is making the presentation. Players first, and then their 2 coaches will be following in the rear. And we see on the championship blue line, the flag being waved. And it's great to see the Waving of the flag, that's number 7, Gleb Ballin, the son of head coach Pavel Ballin. He's worked with kids at all different levels, U16, U18, I believe the under-17 World Challenge. And he's been so dominant with this 2006 CSKA Moscow team with the Moscow Championship. The fact that they've only really lost 3 games all year, and I believe at one point hadn't lost a game for 23 straight games, like so dominant. And the one thing is, you know you could do it in your own league, but can you do it against the best of the world? They did that and did it dominantly.
Yeah, and you look at how proud they are to be part of CSKA. You see how CSKA is using hockey to get into the community, get to the younger ages, and they're getting the love back.
Oh yeah, the professional club does a great job spotlighting its minor teams, and that just empowers the kids, provides them an aspirational experience.
It makes them proud to be a part of the organization.
Absolutely. So we're just wrapping up the medal ceremonies for Western Canada Selects. Really deserving of the bronze medal. And we're about to move on to the East Coast Selects, but one last applause for Western Canada. They were 3-2 in the round robin, but dominant in all the major statistics. Then they were able to pound Latvia and get a big win against SKA, but narrowly lost in a shootout against CSKA, the eventual champions. It's now time for East Coast to get their silver medals.
And the one thing that, of course, you always feel bad for whenever somebody finished second at a tournament like this is that you win third place, you win first place, you lose to get second.
Yeah, you get that sting of defeat. That's the last memory in your head. Western Canada, they're sort of able to wash away the disappointment by winning a big game today. East Coast, they should feel like they definitely were able to win, like getting to that final, getting that chance at the rematch, and really playing a very strong game against CSKA. I thought that East Coast was really able to control those opening minutes and make that statement that, nope, this is not going to be like the opening night where you beat a 7-1. It's going to be tougher, and it really was a lot tougher for CSKA, but they were able to trust that process that they were able to use so much throughout this tournament and win once again.
And just like we said before, this game could have gone either way at the end of the first period or even in the halfway mark of the second period.
Absolutely. It was really just a surge in the final 10 minutes that led to the separation on the scoreboard. CSKA 4, East Coast 1. And that is John Larder, the assistant coach. He does some work with Fusion goaltending. I have no doubt he really helped young Jaden Gillette and Landon Miller. And now the silver plate presentation. All the players will come up.
And Jack Rosensteel leading the way, kind of an unofficial captain of this team. You can tell he is one of the real leaders of the skaters.
And there are some smiles on the faces of those players that they take the picture, and they definitely should be smiling. And it's about to be time for the gold medal presentations. Everybody clamoring to get to the front of the line to get that gold medal.
Oh, they're all trying to get at that trophy too, but they got to wait a couple more minutes.
They've got to wait. And then I'm betting they'll do what the Stanley Cup champions do, try and hoist it over their head.
Well, I'm sure they'll succeed.
They will. Yeah, I don't know why I just said try for some reason. Not a particularly heavy trophy, but a very beautiful looking trophy.
Yeah,
even the Stanley. Different nationalities on there, and that really is the appropriate thing because of all the nationalities that are here. I believe 13 on 18 teams overall.
Yeah, that's what I counted on opening night, and it just shows how the world can come together using this game.
I love what this one girl told me at the U14 international tournament that took place back in Chamonix. Hockey is the universal language. It brings everybody together. And a lot of these kids from the North American teams, they play for different club organizations, but they come together and they're cohesive, like bang, because they just know how to read the game very well. And They were able to stand toe-to-toe against a team that's played together all year long. And North America and Europe will collide in a matter of a few moments as the All-Star game is coming up next at 5:30. I'm excited for that. A little bit of national rivalry on display. So the medals are about to be wrapped up, and then it'll be the trophy, the final thing as part of this closing ceremony.
On the ice right now, there are 6 CSKA players that will play on that game, 4 East Coast players, and 3 West Coast players.
Lucas Havlicek has the trophy. And Nikita Frolov at the front of the line, the captain of the team. Everybody wants a piece of it. There's your champion, all of them touching it, hoisting it over their head. As Queens, We Are the Champions comes on the intercom system.
Well,
worthy champions they are. And what a sight. All the parents trying to get their selfie pictures and snapping pictures of their kids enjoying the moment.
As the flags come out once again.
Of course, trying to rile up the crowd. And the last piece of business, one of the best photos in all sports. A championship photo with the trophy at center. All of them are just content with just walking around the ice, all clutching that trophy together. They'll take their individual turns, but this was a team accomplishment, so they want to celebrate it as a team, as a group.